As you start walking through new patches of forest, you start finding new species, and everything here changes. You just go a little bit upriver, and the animals you see differ. You go on this side of the river versus on the north side of the river, there's two other species of primates there that don't exist here, and that's in the mammal paper that we did with the emperor tamarins and the pygmy marmosets that the rangers found.
Yeah, the mammal paper is looking at the diversity of life in this one region of the Amazon. What kind of can you talk more about that paper? Mammal diversity along the Las Piedras River.
Once again, the mammal paper, Pat Champagne, the prodigy. He was sort of leading on this with a bunch of other scientists who have worked in the region, including Holly O'Donnell out of Oxford. Myself, I really just made a few observations. The Jungle Keepers Rangers got featured because they're the ones that spotted a pygmy marmoset that had previously been unrecorded on the river. Mm-hmm. I got to contribute because I had the only photograph that I believe anyone has of an emperor tamarin on this river. It's the first proof of emperor tamarin on this river, and that's exciting. It's exciting because, you can post a picture or share a scientific observation or write about something, and then what happens is you get these like couch experts, these armchair experts who will come and say, no, you don't get blue and yellow macaws there. I can tell from my bird book, it says they're not there. And they'll tell you you're wrong. No, you don't get woolly monkeys there or emperor tamarins. It's like, but we have proof. And so we're coming together to try and add to that knowledge.
My general sort of amateur experience of the species I've encountered here is like, this should not exist. Whatever this is, this is not real. This is CGI. Like what? Just the colors, the weirdness. I mean, there's I think I called it the Paris Hilton caterpillar because it's like fur. It looks like
one of those like Paris Hilton's dog.
Like it's like really furry and it's transparent and sort of it's transparent. All you see is this white, beautiful fur, and it's just like this caterpillar. It doesn't look real.
Yeah.
Do you think there are species? Like, how many species have we not discovered? And is there species that are like extremely badass that we haven't discovered yet?
If you look up how many trees are in the Amazon rainforest, it's something in the order of 400 billion trees. There's something like 70 to 80,000 species of plants, individual types of plants here, 1,500 species of trees. It's so vast that it's comparable. Like the scale is like only comparable to the universe in terms of stars and galaxies and for the sheer immensity of it. And so we're describing new species every year. And just walking on the trail at night, you and I have seen, you see a tiny little spider hidden in a crevice. And has the scientific eye ever seen that spider before? Has it been documented? Do we know anything about its life cycle? There's still so much that's here that is completely unknown. We have pictures of all these butterflies. Somebody went out with a butterfly net and caught these butterflies, took a picture of it, gave it a name, put it in a butterfly book. But what do we know? What host plant do they use for their caterpillars? What's their geographical range? What do we actually know? Not that much. So are there creatures out here that haven't been described? Absolutely.
And some of them could be extremely effective predators in a niche environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, certainly in the canopy, 50% of the life in a rainforest is in the canopy. And we've had very limited access to the canopy for all of history. If you wanted to get up into the rainforest canopy, you basically have to climb a vine. Mm-hmm. Or what scientists, when I was a kid, I always used to see them with like the slingshots or the bow and arrows. They would shoot a piece of paracord over a branch, pull the rope up, and then, do the ascension thing. And then you're up in this tree getting swarmed by sweat bees, getting stung by wasps. You're trying to do science up there in that environment. It's incredibly hostile. And so having canopy platforms. I actually met a guy at a French film festival who had used hot air balloons to float over the canopy of the Amazon and then lay these big nets over the broccoli of the trees. Mm-hmm. And the nets were dense enough that humans could walk on the nets and then reach through and pull cactuses and lizards and snakes, whatever, just take specimens from the canopy. That's how difficult it is that scientists have resorted to using hot air balloons. Mm-hmm. And so having a treehouse, having canopy platforms, there's starting to be more and more access to the rainforest canopy. And so we're beginning to log more data. we've even observed in our treehouse, which is supposed to be the tallest in the world, we're seeing lizards that we don't see on the ground, lizards that have never been documented on this river. Like we're seeing snakes where they're saying we saw this snake inside a crevice on that tree in the strangler fig, and we don't know what it is. It's just people haven't been up there.
And that's where a lot of the monkeys are. That's where there's just a lot of dynamic life up there.
Yeah. I mean, when you wake up in the canopy in the morning in the Amazon rainforest, as soon as the darkness lifts, as soon as that purple comes in the east in the morning, the howler monkeys start up.
Yeah.
And then the parrots start up. And then the tinamous start going. And then the macaws start going. And pretty soon everybody's going. And the spider monkey groups are all calling to each other. And it's just the whole dawn chorus starts. And it's so exciting.
So you're saying when they're screaming, it's usually about sex?
Sex or territory, usually.
Sex and violence. Or implied violence. Or the threat of violence.
Yeah. I mean, howler monkeys in the morning, they're letting other groups know this is where we're at. We're going to be foraging over here. You better stay away. And so it's a little bit respectful as well. There is order in the chaos.
So just speaking of screaming, macaws are like these beautiful creatures. They're lifelong partners. They stick together. So you often see they're monogamous. So you see two of them together. But when they communicate, their love language seems to be very loud screaming.
Yeah.
What do you learn about relationships from macaws?
That it can be loud and rough and still be loving.
And still be loving. But is that interesting to you that there's like monogamy in some species, that they're lifelong partners, and then there's like total lack of monogamy in other species?
It's all interesting. I mean, there's the anti-monogamy crew who's like, we were never meant to be monogamous. We're supposed to just be animals. And then there's the other side of the crew that's like, we were meant to be monogamous. We are monogamous creatures. That's what God wanted between a man and a woman. And then other people are like, yeah, but I know about these two gay penguins, and so that's natural too. And so then everyone tries to draw their identity. They're trying to justify their identity off of the laws of nature. So the fact that macaws are monogamous really doesn't have anything to do with anybody except for that it's beneficial for them to work together to raise chicks. It's difficult. They rely on ironwood trees or aguaje palms, and it's difficult to find the right hole in a tree. There's only so much macaw real estate, and so they need to use those holes. And each one of those ancient trees, it's usually 500 years or more, is a valuable macaw generating site in the forest. And so if those trees go down, you lose exponential amounts of macaws, and that's how you get endangered species. And so that's why we're trying to protect the ironwood trees.